Hello, my awesome friends. It's your pal Phil Davis here over at Fulfillment Solutions LLC. It is, goodness, another amazing day, episode 29, which is a hard to believe, right? So we're one away from episode 30. I can't believe that, but we are live now. Episode 29. Wherever you are, please send us a comment. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We would love to get your insights, your thoughts, all that good stuff today. We have a very special guest waiting backstage that we're going to introduce here real soon. But wanted to tell all of you out here, thank you all so very much for your flexibility. Just during my couple weeks off on COVID hiatus, it's still a very real thing. And folks, if you're not 100%, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, things like that, really take the time away and rest, reflect, prepare. I say that all the time. It is such an important thing. So thank you all for your flexibility as I catch up this week. But I wanted to bring an awesome, awesome guest on the stage here. So Anna Gerner, right? An awesome friend of mine. Who is she? She is a bilingual career strategist. She is an HR consultant. She is the founder and CEO of Digital Butterfly Communications LLC, which I want to know all about that title. She is also a certified PHR, Professional Human Resources, which is incredible. She has a lot of insight nuggets to share today about company culture and how we as job seekers can really find organizations that have good culture, but then also how companies as well can really define and act upon good company culture. So we've got some comments coming in play. I'm going to bring the comments up here, but first I'm going to bring our dear friend Anna to the stage. Hi, Anna. What's going
This
on?
is how I like to start my live events. Yay!
Well, it's like that. It's like that voice message I did the other day. I keep getting that. Anna,
Yeah.
Anna, Anna. So Anna's here. It's exciting. It's just so. Just thank you for taking the time and the energy to be with us today. It's such a joy to have you here with us. Such a
Thank
joy.
you. I'm so happy to be here. I was looking forward to, having this conversation with you. And I love all the comments coming in.
I
Hi
know.
everybody.
Let's bring them up. I want to bring them all up here. Have folks. Rebecca, Becky, our good friend. Good to see you, my friend. Craig Davis in the house. Of course, I I told him it's like, of course, Craig. I like your last name, obviously, because we're both of
Right?
Davis. So thank you for joining us, friend. It's so good to see you. Our friend Steven, tuning in from New York. Good to see you both. And Craig from New York, thank you so much. Familia, thank you for showing up from Michigan. It's cold up there. It's cold in Atlanta. It's been like in the low 50s down here in Atlanta. It's been crazy. David Hanson, my good friend from Orange County, Cali. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Thank you so much for tuning in, friend. I know it's early over there, so thank you. Thank you. Of course, Becky's of course from Montreal, so we've got some awesome global outreach, which is amazing, amazing. Famia, we keep them coming. This is amazing. I'm jealous. And here's the thing. I want to stop here on Famias because the importance of these lives, and this is why I love them, is not only to bring good value to this community, but it's also to see some of these conversations that folks are having in the comments, right? So keep them coming. Keep them coming. Hong, thank you for being with us here from Canada. This is great. We've got Workham from Pakistan. I mean, it's amazing, 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 amazing. David, I enjoy living here. Mom was born and raised in Michigan. How about that? I used to live in Brighton, Michigan, which was close to Ann Arbor, Detroit area. So that's kind of cool. Goodness me. No way. What part? See, this is what it's all
I
about. It's
love this. Yes, we're twins. We're twins. Yes.
butterfly twin. This is amazing. Kelsey says, such great energy. I
Thank
know. So I
you.
wanted to bring her on the live. Absolutely. Thanks for being here, Kelsey. I definitely appreciate it. Keep them coming, friends. I don't remember what part of Michigan. That's okay, but you're from Michigan. Oh, this is great. The serenade, of course. We'll
Yes, you
keep
have to
those coming.
sing.
On
How
my own
dance can you
show,
sing?
we'll
How's
have to.
that?
You'll have to sing. We'll have to duet, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, just send me a connection request. It's all
Yeah,
good.
absolutely. Thank you, Ahmed, for being here. Absolutely. Yeah. If you're not connected with either of us folks in live stream. We have this live streaming on my page and on Anna's page, so definitely feel free to connect with both of us. We are here for it. We love you, Stephen. Goodness, this is amazing. This is what it's all about. Hearts. I mean, this is great. Snowing in Michigan right now.
Oh my God, no.
it's it's not snowing down here. It's sunny as anything, just cold. No branding on the bow tie. You will see why, David. I'm telling folks right now, I am not wearing a bow tie for a very important reason, and you will see why later. So if you are on the live or watching on the replay, stay tuned to the end too, because you'll see why I am not wearing a bow tie. I'm still at brand. Well, okay, I'll show you. There's my logo, but you'll see why. Um, so yeah, so that's what's going on. Okay, Carolyn, thank you for this is amazing. Like this is incredible. I could go on all day on these comments, and we will catch up on comments.
Keep
This
reading
is
comments
this is
here.
amazing. This is amazing. All right, let's keep going. Okay, near the raceway. This is great. This is amazing. From Michigan, we haven't even gotten into the topic yet. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. This is amazing. Like this is the power of this amazing platform. Seriously,
Yeah,
I've had the
this
same
is a
vibe.
blue morpho. This is a blue morpho butterfly. Like I love butterflies, and I'll explain why. But yeah, I have a couple. I have
Yeah.
another one here and a couple other butterflies. A couple other ones
Well,
behind.
let's start there then. So obviously,
Sure.
digital butterfly communications, butterfly in your branding. So why? Like talk about that a little bit. And then of course, who are you, right? Like what is your story? Let's
Sure.
let's
Let me
let's
start
just
with
let's just do it.
who I am. So,
Yeah.
hi everyone. I'm Anna Gaynor. The last name's a little tricky to say because it's German, but it's my married name. My I'm originally from Brazil, but I've been to the US for 14 years, so it's been a long time here. Um, I help achievers set boundaries, create self care routines, and find and thrive in a healthy work environment. And that's a little bit of what we're going to talk about today. So, why did I name my company Digital Butterfly Communications? First, why do I call myself a bilingual career strategist? It's because I speak two languages. I'm fluent in two languages, but I also know, Spanish and I'm learning Italian. So I've always been really into languages. And I want people to know what they get when they speak to me, meaning I have an accent and I've been having this accent for a long time and it's who I am, right? And I used to be ashamed of it, but I'm not anymore. So it's part of the reason why I call myself that. So you're gonna see the bilingual here and there. But why digital butterfly communications? Why I didn't call it like coaching, for example? First, butterfly, because I'm all about the transformation. I've been through a couple transformations in my life. The first one was moving right after college from one country to another alone. I'm a solo immigrant. And my parents, they never worked in corporate jobs, they never finished high school. So I'm a first generation also. And that was one of the biggest transformations I ever had in my life because I had to learn everything from scratch, meaning I didn't know how to write a resume, like I didn't know how to interview. Networking events, that was like a nightmare for me because you would talk to a person and say, "Oh, I'm a student." And they would just turn their back and like ignore you or whatever. So yeah, and then I worked in corporate America for more than 10 years. And I do what I do today because I was burned out, stressed, anxious, depressed. I had all the different things. And that was another transformation because I am a cancer survivor. So that was the reason why I do what I do today too, because I want to help people to not get into that piece where they feel completely depleted, like they are on a verge of breakdown, because I was. And there are things that you can do before you get there. Don't wait until you are pretty much like about to go, into a hospital or something because you can't take it anymore, right?
Hmm.
So it's the reason why I do what I do today, because I want to help people to, when you start seeing the signs of burnout or the signs that your department, your manager, your organization, they don't suit you anymore, that might be the time for you to start looking for a job, or maybe start setting some boundaries, creating a self-care routine for yourself, because you have to protect yourself. So I call it communications because It's all about communications when you think about it. Like setting boundaries is about communicating what you accept and what you don't accept, right? And self-care routine is also like it's about you. Like, what do you need right now to make you feel better, right? Like, it could be many things. It could be sometimes just laying down on the couch and watch TV, right? So it's the reason why, because to me, there's so much communication, and in corporations, we see, as you know, I have an HR background, we see so much miscommunication. And that sometimes is the reason why teams don't work well together, or people can, really don't have a good communication with each other, or they dismiss people's ideas, right? So this is another reason why I decided to name communications. But yes, I do career coaching, but involving more of the holistic piece of things, the setting boundaries, thinking about your
Mm.
self-care, so you can figure it out today what you need to thrive in your current job, or to find a different job based on, the work environment. So I
I
guess
love
that's it.
it. I'm writing notes as always, when I look to the left or the right, however it's coming on camera. I think I'm looking to the left, it may be looking to the right because it's mirrored, but just want to recap. I mean, first gen student, high school, college, cancer survivor, which I did not know that. So thank you for sharing that vulnerability. Setting boundaries, protecting ourselves, protecting our needs, self-care, being driven about what we need in the moment, what's gonna, make us happy, work environment. I mean, all of this is important. We've got some other comments in here. I know David had said something earlier. Good for you for embracing your accent. He also said, I love the butterfly symbol of transformation. I think that's incredible because that's exactly how I thought about it too. It's like, they become um, a cocoon, and then they, eventually evolve and they fly and they make things happen, which is incredible. I love your approach to communications. David also said self care is important to prevent burnout and health issues of all types. It's wellness instead of treatment. And yeah, I mean, case in point, right? It's like I said a couple days ago on my post when I came back from COVID, it was a forced time away because I was ill. And yes, am I catching up on stuff? Absolutely. Yes, is it a lot there's a lot going on right now this week? Of course, but I'm at a better place, physically and mentally, emotionally, because I had that time off. I had that time away. And I think a lot of times, on the job search, we think, okay, we need to do this now, 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 now. We need to grind, 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 make this happen. We're going to get a job. But a lot of it's like, let's just, take that step back, take those breaks, find hobbies that you enjoy aside from the job search. If you like to paint, if you like to go for a walk, if you like to golf like me or go run or something, whatever makes you happy, and then come back later. It's also kind of like too, the way I think about it is like an essay in school, right? If you have an essay you have to write, a couple pages or whatever, you want to start writing the essay and then maybe you want to take a break and then come back later because you'll have another thought or another thing that you want to talk about. So I think that's important. And so I guess to like transition, we've got Denise, of course, as well from Houston. Thank you for tuning in. Becky, happy you're back. Our health is wealth. Absolutely. Our health
Yep.
is wealth. Orange heart. Thank you, my friend. I know David does those orange hearts as well, and I love them. So keep them coming. Um, a lot of times as a job seeker, because I know you're going to bring this discussion kind of towards the job seeker, and I'm going to kind of bring it towards the employer side. So let's kind of start with the job seeker side and your approach, right? So a lot of times as a job seeker, right, we think about the role that we want to get into, right? Like, hey, I feel like I'll be fulfilled in this certain type of role, right? And we want to, and that's okay. Like, we've got certain traits and skills and talents, and we want to get into, I'll be hypothetical, like a marketing position or something because we've done marketing before, or we want to pivot. We want to get out of, education and go into a corporate environment. And we think a lot of times about the job and what is going to fulfill us as the job. But a lot of times we may think about the company environment, but it sometimes it may not in the moment it may not feel like there's as much weight in that area. So how or in your opinion, like how can we as job seekers, I want to say like weigh the environment like more, but kind of bring it up to scale, right? When we think, hey, here's the kind of job I want to get into, but oh my gosh, here's the kind of environment I want to get into as a job seeker. Here's where I can really focus and succeed. So how, in your opinion, like how can job seekers really tune into the environment side and what you feel is going to help them, what kind of environment's going to help them succeed. Does that make sense?
Of course. So
Yeah.
I want to start by saying, first, of course, you need that clarity piece, right? The clarity is the first number one step. You need to understand why you're going from this to that particular role. And then create two lists. One's going to be your must haves, like if remote work is a big deal and you have to because maybe you take care of a family member or maybe you need to be home with your children, whatever reason that is a must have. What is a nice to have? So you need to figure out what are your must haves and your nice to haves. And those are two different things, right? Because maybe being home 5 days a week is not necessarily a must have for you. So you put in the nice to have bucket, and that would be okay. A hybrid work environment could work for you. So this is just like the beginning of it. But like if you are a job seeker and you want to find a healthy work environment, first I want to start by defining what this is and talking a little bit more about it, because I think it's important to give language to things so we are on the same page here. So, what is a work environment? When we think about a work environment, you think about physical, you may think about the office, but a work environment is much more than that. So, when you think about the physical, yes, like it's the office or remote work or hybrid work. It could be, do you want to work for a big corporation? Do you want to work for a mid-sized company, for a small company? And then we talk about culture. As we all know, there's all culture is a word that we all talk about all the time, but it's more than just the vision, mission. It's about seeing if they are really committed with DEIB, which is diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, which are big ones for me. Because sometimes you see a lot of companies that they don't walk the walk, right? Like they just talk, but they are not really doing the things. So culture is a big part of the work environment as well. Management styles is also a big part of it, because sometimes the overall culture is actually good, but your particular department, because of your manager, may not be, because management style is a big deal, right? If you don't do well with a manager who give you criticism in front of everybody when you prefer to have a one-on-one conversation, that can be a big deal. And these are things that you can learn, by talking to people working in that company, and also by asking the right questions in the interview. And when I say the right questions, I am thinking about questions that are important to you. Instead of asking, these are the top 10 questions that you need to ask in an interview. Yeah, maybe get some ideas from that,
Yeah.
but maybe think about those questions that are important to you. If
Mm.
management communication style is it's an important one for me, because I like to receive praise and criticism as a one-on-one. As an introvert, that's the way that works, best for me. But I always ask this question. I always ask, why do you like to work here? If there's an improvement and within the team, what do you think? It really depends on the job I'm going for, the company, I'm trying to, work with. Um, and also, the third point about the work environment is working conditions. And I want to make this, just to give you guys some food for thought here. When you graduate college, you have all this energy and you're willing to do all sorts of things. You have a lot of energy and drive. But let's say after 10 years, in your career, you really feel like, okay, I used to do this job outside, or I used to be a teacher standing in front of a classroom, and I can't do these things anymore. Maybe because you got tired, or maybe because physically you just don't want to do it anymore. So it's okay if you want to change. It's okay if the working conditions that used to be okay in the past are not okay right now. So for me, it's all about, what do you need right now? What are you looking for right now in a work environment? I'm not thinking about, okay, 10 years from now, because I feel like we as humans, we change and we evolve. Things happen. I mean, 2 years ago, we didn't know we were going to have a crazy pandemic, right? So things change. So what used to work for you doesn't
Mhm.
work anymore. So
Mhm.
I think from a job seeker perspective, it's important that, of course, yes, his salary is a big deal for you, which, yeah, you need to be well compensated for what you're doing. I get it. But start thinking about that environment. Do I really want to sit in an open office? No, it's not my thing. I mean, I've done for 12 years and I don't want to do that anymore. But it's just like, what do you think you need today? Like the management style or the company culture. Is there something particular like, oh, I need a company culture who has a board of members who are very diverse, or they are, into environmental causes, whatever that is. So we start thinking about those different things because they are going to impact how you do your job, right? It's like, yeah, you can be making, okay, let me give you another example here. You can be working for a huge tech company and have that beautiful name in your LinkedIn profile, but you may be miserable because you, you,
Mhm.
you may be making the big salary, but you didn't do the homework to understand what was the management style, what were the expectations of the job, right? How about work and life balance? Are you working 60 plus hours a week just to, get things done? So all these different things are important to have a sense.
Very good. Yeah, I'm gonna bring comments up, but then I also just want to recap kind of some of the things you said. Work environment is so many different things. We talk about. I love the aspect of you what you said. It's more than just a physical environment, like on-site office, hybrid office, remote office. You talked about culture, diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, which is also I like the belonging side of it. On a previous episode, we had Tracy Borson on episode 21. She was big on belonging, and one of the things that she talked about was belonging is action, which you kind of related a lot of it, like the actual act of showing DEI. And not only just in bringing those people in the office, but a sense of belonging as to like ensuring that the work they do is fulfilling and that the contributions that they're bringing or their leadership that they're bringing to the company is truly a belonging aspect to that culture. So I love that tie-in because that's immediately what I thought about because you mentioned it, she mentioned it. Values, mission, vision, and values of businesses. Not only just saying, "Hey, here are our values, here's our mission," but here's how we act upon those values. I had a client who had a shadowing interview. He had a final round interview yesterday, and he shadowed 3 different people within the department that he wanted to work in. Instead of it being a panel like structured interview. It was like, hey, let's just shadow you and let's show you what we do here. And so that gave him a sense of not only the culture, but also who would he be working with. And it was much more informal. So I thought that was an incredible way for that company to show that culture. It was amazing. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I wish
Yeah.
all final rounds could be like that. It was
Yes, I
amazing.
agree with
Yeah.
you. And I agree.
Yeah.
And I have another tip here. If
Yeah, sure.
you feel comfortable doing that, like let's say, like me, you're not a fan of the open office for many reasons, because open office means different things.
Of course.
Maybe you have your own individual cubicle, but it's still kind of an open office. You have like a little wall. Or it could also be that like you're right next to your colleague, because I've worked in that situation before. You can barely breathe, you turn and they are right there, like right in their face. So maybe now because of the circumstances, offices are, way more open, there's more room, right? Because a lot of people are still working from home. But maybe what you can do, if you feel comfortable, if they ask you to, let's say, is an on-site position, maybe you ask them, can I take a peek and just look in the? I've done that. I
Yeah.
wanted to look what the office looked like and have a sense of, okay, I just want to envision myself in this environment. So I wish more companies would do the whole job, shadowing thing, because I used to I trained a lot of people in my corporate career. And it was, I mean, people learn different ways, right? But
Hmm.
it's good for them to have a sense of what their work looks like. Oh,
Absolutely.
I just met 3 colleagues that could be my colleagues. Do I feel like we would work well together, or do I feel like their personalities might be a little tricky because I'm more quiet, they're more like aggressive, whatever that is, right? So
Absolutely.
I feel like this would be perfect if you want to build teams that work well together. You don't need to be best friends or love all your colleagues, but it's important to have that sense of respect. They are professionals just like you, and everybody within the team has something to contribute, right?
Well, and they're human. That's
Yeah,
I go into it on a human approach truly
absolutely.
because we are not robots. We are not. I've heard it from a few people. Like we are not. I'm in a. I'll say it like I'm in a Bible study group, right? Just recently, and the we talk about we are not human doings, we are human beings, right? And we
Mhm.
make mistakes, we are not perfect. And I think as part of the cultures that I like to work in personally, I also I need to have a culture where I'm but also a culture that, hey, if I make mistakes, they're not gonna completely rule me out and say, hey, you're fired, you made this mistake, because we're all human, right? And we all, in order to grow, we have to make mistakes. We have to have some of those boundaries and things. That I want to bring comments though, because I know there's a ton of amazing work and amazing comments here. Um, I know David had a question earlier. I'm going to bring that one up first, if that's okay. He said, gosh, all these comments are amazing.
I
I
love it.
know. Here we go, right here. It's to you. He asked, as an outsider to a company, how can we learn about their management style, especially if they're not self aware or self honest?
Yes.
It's a good question.
I
Yeah.
I had a live event last week with my friend, with Teresa. I know she's gonna be on the show too. And this was one thing that I we all like to think that we're self-aware, and most of us, we have a sense of who we are. We have a an idea of who we are. But a lot of those people, exactly what you said here in the comment, they believe they really know, they're really self-aware, but they're not. They don't understand that the comments they're making, the way they're dismissing people ideas, this is not okay, right? So what I would recommend as an outsider to a company, let's say you see, a company that you may want to work for, there are a couple of things that you can do. If they already have a job available, look at that job description. Do you see trigger words for you? And I'll say trigger words because sometimes, and I know this is changing, but I still see a lot of it out there. They write certain words that are more like on, the male side of things, like the aggressive words like team player, ninja, this and that. And it's like, but they write it in a way that you have to come in and be like this genius, right? And that throws, women away sometimes in
Mhm.
other, groups. And there's also like sometimes when they go on and on, and I see job descriptions every day in my contractor role. And some job descriptions, sometimes they may have the fast-paced environment more than once,
Mhm.
or
Or hit the
dynamic.
ground running's the big one, right? Like, oh, you must come in and you must hit the ground
Yes,
running.
no.
Yeah,
Every time I see that's like,
yeah.
I just no, because the language there is already telling me. Or if you see something that says you are going to come in as a marketing specialist, but you're also going to have the opportunity to learn about X, Y, X, Y, and Z. And then when you see those things don't really go well together,
Uh-huh.
so it may be like different jobs that they're trying to combine. They don't really know what they're doing. So those are just some ideas, but there are a lot of words out there that could be trigger words for you, or trigger sentences, or things that they're asking you to do. If you see a laundry list,
Yeah.
think hard
Yeah.
if you really want to take that job. And I want to say, like, my favorite one is like, it's either a laundry list or like a couple bullet points, like three
Mhm.
bullet points talking about what you're going to do and other duties as assigned.
Right.
And I understand that it's not possible to put every single duty you're going to do on a job. And also, when you are in that position, you're going to want to have to maybe take on different tasks because they're interesting to you. You want to learn, right? So you're going to be doing a little more here and there. But when they put other duties as assigned and they don't have a job description that kind of clearly explains what you're going to be doing, also think about it, because so many things can be implied in other duties as assigned, because you never know, like, are you going to be doing just these things that they're talking about in the bullet points, or am I going to also have to be getting in my car and grabbing coffee for people? You know what I mean? I'm just saying,
Mhm.
it's just like, so yeah, look at the job description, do some company research. But the best thing you can do, if you feel comfortable, of course, with reviews, talk to people if you can. Maybe send them a message. If you see people who are working for this company on LinkedIn, start with a good one, like, hey, I'm looking at this company and I found your profile. And just kind of ask one question, just like, why do you like to work for this company? And then if the conversation goes on, then you ask like a question that for you would be a turn off, like, if the management style is certain way that you just, it's not your way of communication or culture, all these different things, to see what they're going to talk about. And also former employees, if you want, just to kind of weigh in, the different ideas. But what you can also do, if you apply for the job, is, like I said, come in with the right questions. The right questions, like I said, in an interview, are going to be the ones that are important to you. So there are multiple ways that you can try to learn more about the management style, but it's never 100% guarantee. And I want to put that out there because, nothing is perfect or guaranteeing this, career life. And it's just like, you may talk to people, you may do a lot of research, and maybe, yeah, you started working for a manager, and this manager is awesome, but 6 months down the road, your manager gets another job somewhere else, or they move up in the company and you get a different manager.
Mhm.
So that happened. It happened to me multiple times. So it's, yeah, just some ideas. I don't know if I answered your question. I hope so.
Yeah, I want to bring some of the other comments up. I think it's a lot, asking questions like the one thing you brought up that's important, I think I tell this to people all the time, like, yeah, trying to talk to current employees that are working at those jobs, like why did you make the move? Like even recent employees, like why did you make the move to work at company ABC, right? Or if they did leave, right? Like, well, why did you leave that company, right? And that's okay. You can ask folks if you're curious to know, just quickly ask them, well, why did you leave that organization? What happened? Because yeah, the more that you can, and I say this all the time to myself and Kelsey, my wife, and I, we talk about this all the time. A lot of it is like we're making decisions as humans. We make decisions based on the information that we have or the information that we don't have. So the more that we can get about a company, about management, about employees and how they feel about working there, and about the position and the impact that we're going to do not only at that company, but also long term, right? Why is the role posted now, and where do we see the role going long term? Do we want to get into a position and then 2 months down the road it's going to be laid off? Of course not. We want to really make sure too that we're digging into those questions. So comments, very, 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 very good question, David, and very, very,
Yeah.
very awesome, awesome, awesome answer.
Thank you so much. That is a
Yeah,
great
very,
question.
very, very good question.
There,
Beckett said earlier, things change and we change, very hard to predict. Famia said, you need to ask yourself, yeah, are you happy? Exactly. And encompassing all of these different things, because we have so much awesome insights and information from you already. And we're only halfway through, well, a little more than halfway through the live, which is amazing. Yeah, asking yourself that question, are you happy or are you fulfilled? Like, do you feel awesome waking up every day in your role or even working at that company that you're working at? Do you feel like you're belonged, right? A sense of belonging in your organization. Melissa had said she loves the shadowing idea. Yeah, it was incredible when he told me that he was shadowing for his final round. I'm like, awesome, excellent. It's going to be such a huge way for you to see the culture. It is great. David loved the shadow approach. Nicole as well. Freedom to make mistakes and learn. Yeah, the human side of it we've talked about before, but very important to have the supportive leader. Absolutely. It all starts. It
yes.
all starts, and I say this with my fists down on the table. It all starts with leadership.
Yes.
Culture is defined by leadership. If your
Yes. And
leadership define the mission, vision, values of said company, like they have to act on that. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and I have one thing to add to this. The relationship you have with your manager is the most important relationship you're going to have at work, meaning this is the person that is going to promote you, right? So yeah, you may have like best friends at work, but if you don't have a good relationship with your manager, you are afraid to talk to them. You don't want to ask for time off because you believe they're just going to throw a fit or whatever that is. you may need to, either change to a different department, or maybe, I don't know if this manager is going to stick around for too long, but like figure out what you need. Like for me, I said, are you happy? Is this fulfilling you? Is this working for you? And it's
Mm-hmm.
okay to ask yourself these questions. And I believe, we're not going to be 100% happy every day, but when you
Yep.
weigh in, like, are you like, do you feel energized when you go to work? Like, do you like the tasks that you're doing? Do you like the relationships you have there? Do you feel seen and heard? That's a big one for me, because it's something that didn't happen to me for many, many years. And just kind of try to figure it out where you are right now, and if this is working for you. Like, if not, you start making that plan and trying to figure it out. Okay, what do I think I need in the future, or for my next career move? It's yeah, I think it's important to have those thoughts and try to figure that out.
Yeah, David has another question, and I
Yes, I
and I
saw
can
that.
yeah, and I can go into this too a little bit, but yeah, let's get your take. As an outsider, are there ways to uncover if there's a lot of turnover in a company? I have some suggestions, but I want to hear yours first.
Well, the first thing I would do is, there are a lot of, I always take, things, everything I would say with a grain of salt, like, even information and this and that, especially reviews, right? Because usually when you read reviews on, multiple websites like Glassdoor, for example, or many other websites where employees can go in, and it's like, is this review coming from a current employee? What are they saying? Are they talking about the high turnover, like runaway and all these different things? But like, what is the average of those kind of comments that you see? And are people, did people leave the company? So I would start there just to get a sense. I've done this before just to get a sense. Um, and then, like I said before, you may try to reach out to people also on LinkedIn, or any other platform that you feel like people who worked or is still working at that company, and try to have a sense.
Mhm.
Approach with a good question, and then your next question could be that, like, how's turnover, and yeah, because that kind of information sometimes is hard to come by if it doesn't come from employees. I mean, companies are not going to put on their website, right, like, we have our turnover.
Yeah, right, exactly.
um, but I would start with those reviews, and if you feel okay, maybe reaching out, to people working or who, left the company, just to have a sense.
Mhm.
But this is what I would do. How about you, Phil?
Yeah, I think the biggest one, we talk about asking questions. It's important, especially when it comes to turnover. One of the biggest questions that I ask as a job seeker myself, when I have job seeked or when I'm about to start job seeking again, because I am looking for something more strategic in recruitment. But one of the things I ask up front is, is this position that's available, is it a backfill? Is it a newly created position? Why is this position open? Or
Yes.
why is it going to be open if maybe it's not posted yet, but somebody reaches out like a recruiter and they say, hey, we're about to have a leader recruiting job opening or something. Well, why is it open? Right? What's going
Mhm.
on? And again, digging a little deeper, right? And it's okay to really dig. Like if you feel like you're not getting the answer, um, like if it's not clear to you, then ask more specifically, right? Like so if it's like, well, if the role is, let's say it's a backfill, well, why is it a backfill, right? Did the person resign? Was their performance? I was on a call for an interview a couple days ago for an HR director position, fully remote, which is awesome because I'm more kind of remote hybrid. That's kind of like what I'm looking for. And I asked them, I said, well, is this position newly created? Is it a backfill? And they said it's a backfill. I'm like, well, why? And they said, well, because the previous employee, they resigned for some personal reasons. And then, but I wanted to know, I said, well, how long was the person in that role? You know what they said? They said they were in the role 3 months. They were in the role for 3 months. So that I wanted to find out more. Well, why were they in the role for three
Mhm.
months? So I think it's okay to get into it if you need to really get specific information. I found out later that that the role the not the person the role isn't performance related, but they resigned because it was just too much work for them. And so I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to get myself in a position where I'm going to be worked to the bone and then I can't fulfill other people on the side, right? So asking detailed questions, getting specific about what you want to learn and what you want to know. And I think too also taking the time, right? The Glassdoor reviews, those things are important. But I think more importantly too, yeah, getting to talk to those employees, the ones who are there, the ones who have left, and people that you feel comfortable approaching,
Yes.
it's important too, right? Because
Hmm.
you also want to make sure you're yourself and you're comfortable doing it, and you're being yourself up front. And Melissa says here too just now, and if they aren't forthcoming with answers to those questions, it's probably exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly,
Watch for
yeah.
those red flags. And what you said, it's
Well,
like brilliant because I always ask that question because it's important to me to understand what I'm getting into, meaning did the person just leave, like you said, after 3 months? Because and this I've seen this happening in my department before, people leaving after a month because they just couldn't take the workload because it was insane, right? So I think it's important to ask that question. I mean, I always ask, and I love that you brought that up, Phil, because it's important to understand, and I always try to dig deeper and understand. I personally, said no to jobs when I start digging more and learning more about it. And it was exactly what you said. I
yeah,
realized that I was going to come in and start like hitting the ground running and
right.
doing the work of two people. And I was like, no thanks. You know what I mean? I don't want that crazy, environment burnout situation anymore. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's important to try to dig deeper and understand.
And again, it's okay to dig deeper. It's
Yes.
okay to dig
Oh
deeper.
yeah.
Truly.
It's a two-way relationship. There's no
Hmm.
relationship if one person doesn't want to be a part of that relationship. So
Hmm.
it's the same way that the interview is a two-way conversation.
Hmm.
You like, you are the solution. You're coming to this company to make things happen. It's okay for you to understand, dig more and try. Okay, negotiate your salary, negotiate vacation if you need to. It's okay, you also have that power. Don't be afraid to start a job at a low salary, very little benefits, just because this is what they have to offer and they're taking a chance on you. Like, no, like, don't think that way, because that's when companies take advantage of people, when you don't set those boundaries, right? You're not
Hmm.
thinking about yourself, and next thing you know, you become that go-to person that does everything but has no life outside of work. So
Hmm. It's important. Yeah, it's important. Ahmed said here, I had a candidate who met our team before deciding to join us. He asked questions to us to know the team and what keeps us motivated to work here. Incredible. Yeah, and that's an awesome question to ask as well. Not only like what do you like about the company, but what keeps you motivated in your job, right? What about the culture fulfills you, but what about that culture keeps you wanting to come back for more, right? Because again, I think about, for me, and just and when I, in my mind, for the kind of culture that I need specifically, I need a culture for me, uh, full-time role, role, whatever. I need a culture that is going to help me to become innovative, right? And so that culture for me has to have excitement. It has to have empathy. It has to have teamwork, like hardcore teamwork. Like I'm not going to just go into a job and contribute and it's every person for themselves. Like I need a true team environment where it's going to encompass innovation, and some conflict. Some conflict can bring out innovation, but just a
yeah.
a, a good a good culture that's going to really have me think creatively and also do creatively.
Mhm.
Jenna's in the house. She just want to say
Hi,
late but joining in.
Jenna.
So thank you
Yes,
for being
I love
here.
that too. For me, it's support. Like, I
Yeah,
need to feel like I can do my work, on my own or with my group, but I want to feel that
that's
I
right. Yeah,
have the support. And it's something that you mentioned
yeah,
as, however you call it, recovery perfectionist, achiever. Yeah, this is, it's my personality trait, is not who I am. I'm trying to separate the things. It's a personality trait, right?
of course.
I I tend to be that person who is going to come in, and I even used to joke with my previous boss that I'm getting done is my favorite like sentence in the workplace, because it was. But also, like, on the times that I didn't feel like I had the support that I needed to get something, that I need the resources, like, How am I going to get this done if I don't have the resources or leadership help to get the word out to employees? Because I used to write employee communications too, right? So I feel like that having that support, and something that you said earlier, and I want to talk about it again, to make mistakes, we are not perfect. This is an illusion, right? That we have to be like these perfect little robots in the workplace. There's no such a
Mm-hmm.
thing. We
Nope.
are going to make mistakes. So how do you feel when you make mistakes? Are you going to be the one like kicking yourself because you made that mistake and now your manager is just looking at you as an incompetent person? You know what I mean? I'm just saying for what it is. Or do they say it's okay, it's okay, we're gonna do it right next time, or just kind of keep encouraging you, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
we're on the same boat. We are going to make mistakes. It's human, right? There's no way to live without making mistakes. And I always like to see mistakes as trial and learning.
Yep.
It's like, I'm trying this, didn't work, okay, I learned from it, move on, I'm gonna do better again, next time. And that's just how it goes.
Trial and learning. I like it because you hear like, oh, trial and error, trial and error.
No,
When you think of the word
no.
error, it's like like error.
Learning.
Oh my
I
gosh, I'm
learned
a
from my
failure.
mistakes.
Right, because you think, when you think of the word error, yeah, our minds immediately go to, oh my gosh, I screwed up, I made a big
Mhm.
mistake, I was wrong. Oh my goodness, where it's like trial and learning, and I'm gonna, put that in the comments because
We
that's
are too
incredible.
hard on ourselves. We
Yeah, we
are
are.
too hard on ourselves. We usually say I am this, but sometimes when you're using the word I am, like I'm
Yep.
dumb, I'm this, I'm that, and it's like it's almost like you start internalizing the things that come out of your mouth, right? So
Yeah.
if you make a mistake, you're gonna right away, I'm dumb, or I'm this, or
Mhm.
I'm that, and it's like when you have the support from your team and from your manager to say, okay, it's okay, next time we're going to do it better, or you have the support to correct the error, right? So let's say you did something wrong with a client, and then your manager steps in and say, hey, I'm sorry we made the mistake, we're going to make it right, and just try to make it better. So I feel like that is a really important thing in leadership and company culture. I love learning organizations that
Yeah.
they invite you to, keep learning, keep trying different things, because I believe learning organizations, they have hopefully the spirit that is trial and learning, right? You're learning as you go. Maybe it doesn't go well this way, you turn and you do something else. So I think these
Mhm.
things are essential for good company culture. Cultures that are willing to embrace healthy work environments, right? They allow people to make mistakes sometimes and, be seen, heard, having a work and life balance. Because I like to say this, companies make work and life balance a you problem. It's like, oh, you need to find work and life balance. Here is a mindfulness program for you.
Mhm.
And I'm saying this because I used to work in, employee
Mhm.
benefits, so I can
Mhm.
tell you, like,
Sure.
companies teach you all the time about the different, vendors in this case. They teach you all the time things like, okay, we have this mindfulness program that's going to be beneficial to your employees, or we have these things. And then when you stop and think about it, it's like if people are working to the bone, they're overworked, asking them to meditate for 5 minutes every day may not do anything, because they need more. They are burnt out. They need different things. Maybe they need, less less work, and maybe they need to seek a mental health professional, help. It's just kind of, there's all these different things sometimes in company culture. They try to do better and believe that they are, the whole work and life balance. But when you look at the root cause, which is something that I'm all about, the root cause, this employee is doing 1 million different tasks alone. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's like mindfulness is not going to help them reduce their workload. It's just there.
Well, and you said it, and I'll say it again. Like everybody needs something differently, and I don't want to like get started too much in this because I could talk about this topic all day, but that's paid time off or PTO or vacation time, right? And there's still these companies out there
Yeah.
where it's like we're asking permission to take time off. Like if we're performing our job and we're doing well, and we need that personal time away, it's like, hey, boss, or hey, whoever, I'm taking some time off. And, you know, getting that permission, it's kind of like, when we're like elementary school, right? It's like, hey, may I use the restroom? It's like, yes. It's like, it's almost kind of like that. And so, it could be another topic, another time, but it's that kind of stuff. If we really, again, I'm very big on taking the time away to rest, reflect, prepare, all that kind of stuff because it's key. We're going to bring some comments back up. Trial learning. It's all about playing the long game.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And it's also about you understanding, again, I say this so hard, understanding the company's long game. Where do they want to go for the long haul as a business, but also as a culture? And how
Mm-hmm.
are they going to act upon that culture so that you're successful for the long haul at that company? Ahmed says, great topic. I think it complements well with potential employers since every interview has this standard question for the candidate. Describe a situation where you failed and what did you do or learn from it? 1,000%. Because you hear it, what is your greatest weakness? Or, yeah, exactly. How did you describe your biggest failure? What did you do? And taking that as a learning opportunity. What did you learn in that thing? The trial learning. That's huge. I'm so happy that you said that, Ahmed. That's huge. Huge. David here says, what follows I am follows you. Choose positive, empowering words to just, I'm going to say that again. Choose positive, empowering, and I'll say fulfilling. I obviously words to describe yourself. Huge. Steven. PTO is a big deal for me. When I request it, I never phrase it as yes. Oh, may I please take 2 days off work?
Yes,
Yes, a
yes,
statement.
yes.
I
And
would
I
like
have
to
I
blah blah
have
blah
a
blah blah.
comment on this.
Yeah, of course.
So I used to
Yeah.
work behind the scenes. I used to work with HR systems. I was the person behind those systems. And there is, options and things that you can do with that system, meaning you can customize, right? From my experience working 10 years, more than 10 years actually, in corporate America, and then I also work in Brazil, what companies do is when they set up their software, there is like the comment section, right? It's almost like, okay, you're gonna ask for 3 days off, but here's a comment, and sometimes you can even make that comment if you want as a requirement. But honestly, employees shouldn't have to feel the need to explain why they're taking time off,
Yep.
because time off is time off. And when I say this, I don't care if it's unlimited, because I worked under unlimited, I worked under actually, the accrued PTO and all these different things. And it doesn't matter if you need the time off, or if your company, even if your company offered those mental, health days and stuff, you don't need to say, I need to take a mental health day because I'm on the verge of a breakdown. You know what I mean? Just take it. And I feel like this is another piece of company culture, right? How the company operates. Like, do they allow people to take time off? I mean, because sometimes, and I'll say this too, because I've worked with managers, I've been behind the scenes, and I know, of course, Phil, you are an HR leader and recruiting leader, and you've seen this too. Sometimes it's not even like the whole company, like a culture in the company, but it could be your immediate boss. They are the ones who
Mhm.
say, every time you take time off, please let me know the reason, or please let me know, these kind of things. And if this is happening, maybe try to learn more. Like, is this a company requirement, or is this just your manager asking just because they want to know why you need to be
Mhm.
out?
None your
Because
business.
sometimes what I learned
Yep.
is that HR doesn't know what's going on sometimes.
Sure.
We don't know. Like, I got some cases, I used to work with lawyers almost every day, and I got some cases that I just couldn't believe these things were happening behind the scenes, and the nature person was never called or asked to brought in to like understand the situation. When sometimes when we know what's going on, it's already like blowing up, like it's already like in the verge of the employee trying to sue the company or something. So there's that too,
Sure.
right? So, but yeah, I don't want to go over that because I feel your feelings and I'm right there with you.
Oh yeah, and it's again. I mean, we've said this topic before in terms of like finding out what the culture is all about, and asking questions and getting information. I think as an HR leader, both of us, right? It's like we can't do our job effectively or help unless we have that information, right? And I think it's important, right? Especially if you are in a workplace, and I'll kind of leave it here, if you're in a workplace that is not, if you don't feel fulfilled or happy in your current workplace, um, or your current, we'll call it work environment, as that's the topic. If you don't feel happy in your work environment, say something, communicate. And if you feel like you can't talk to your manager because you're worried about what your manager's going to think or going to say about you, that's okay. Find somebody you're comfortable with. Could be HR, could be somebody, colleague, that kind of thing. And express that. It's important to communicate. I want to bring some comments up because we have some other really good ones here. I know
Yeah, I just want
Steven.
to
Yep.
address David's really quick here
Yeah, go
because
ahead.
he said it can be unwise say why you want time off. Yes, I agree a million
Yeah, here
percent.
it is.
But some
Yep.
companies sometimes they do have they separate. Let's say you accrue vacations, so those are vacations. Sick time. I'm saying because I used to deal with all of that, and they may give you maybe 5 days that they call it. This is in the HR system. They call a mental health day. You don't need to justify why you're taking the time off, but maybe that is an option that you add to the system. So that I just wanted to clarify that. But yeah, I don't think you need to justify, like I said,
No,
why you
no,
are taking the time off.
no,
But
no.
in the system, sometimes you need to justify. I'm saying this because I used to work with the systems, and there's the option there. Why are you taking this time off? And if there are different buckets, you may want or not. Maybe you want to put it as vacation, but there sometimes there's the language there. That's
Yeah,
what I want to say.
yeah, if it's part of policy, right?
Yeah,
If it's a company policy and it's something you have to code in there as per policy, that's a
yeah,
different story. But if it's just like, I worked at companies where it just said PTO in there, then that's it. And there would be like in systems, there may be a comment, like where it says comment. But when I created the system, I did not asterisk that or make it a requirement. Just if you say you're
nope,
taking PTO, take PTO.
yes.
Precisely. Let me go back a little bit. Stephen has said, I own my PTO. I will use it.
Mhm.
Splendid. Melissa says, I just recently learned how to tell my boss that I'm taking PTO. It feels awesome. Heck yes. Famia. I know I keep doing that. Exactly. Because I did an audio note to Famia a couple days ago as well. Exactly. You need to explain yourself. It is your time. It is your time. It's your time. It is your time. Ahmed, nowadays PTO days are not carried over to the next year, and this is sad. Take it or lose it. Yeah, it depends on company
Yeah,
policy. Again, that's stuff that I think like when it comes to that, if you're in a, I think Anna has said this earlier about like negotiating salary or negotiating PTO, right? So if you're at a company and they're like you start out with 3 days, but like if you're a previous company you had unlimited time off or something, like negotiating time, you can do that. That's okay.
yeah,
Asking those questions. Hey, can I, as part of this, part of my offer, can I have? I was at a previous company with unlimited PTO. Can I have 4 weeks instead of three? Asking those questions. 'Cause, yeah, some organizations do carry over, some don't. It
yeah.
just depends on where you go. Famia says, correct. You don't need to explain yourself. Exactly. David, these are awesome comments. Keep them coming. It can be unwise to say why you want time off if you take. Yeah, we brought that up before. Mental health days causing to judge you. Ahmed, good point. Kelsey has a comment here. I'll just read the whole thing. Yes, it's so hard, especially when you aren't supported when you do take the time off. I've had rules in the past, excuse me, while out that I felt punished coming back, had to catch up. Sometimes felt like more trouble than it
I've
was
been
worth.
there.
Yeah. Yep.
I've been
I
there.
have as well. I have as well, for sure. Yeah. Experiences too, getting punished with pending work after returning.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's usually like I hate I really don't like to say this, but that's usually almost like the norm and the expectation that when you come back is just going to be that pile of overwhelm right next to you, right? Like all this, I mean, in this case would be like your hundreds and emails. I remember getting like hundreds of emails when I was out and lots of work, and I get it. I get it. And I wish it wasn't that way.
Mhm. I hear you. I definitely agree. Well, we are past the hour by a minute, so I want to wrap this up. We definitely appreciate everybody being here. If you're in the live, thank you so very much. Stay tuned though. We've got a couple updates here to the end, which just give us a few more minutes. But Anna, like I have 2 pages of notes. We have all these amazing comments from our awesome network and community, both of our community networks here streaming. We appreciate everybody, but what would you say? What's your kind of one tip of advice, right? As we kind of leave here, before we give some updates out here at the end, what would you say you want people to remember?
What I want people to remember is think about what you need. Your needs matter because sometimes we allow outside forces, information is like, oh, I believe I need to work for this big company or this big tech company because then I'm going to feel a certain way. And sometimes you chase that dream so hard and you end up not feeling that way. So figure out what you need in a work environment and learn more about the company, if you can, before you apply for a job. Maybe try to network and talk to people. I always think about the research and the networking are essential to find a place that suits you and suits you
Yeah.
right now. You don't need to think about long term, like 10 years from now I want to still be doing this job, because you don't know, like maybe you want something else. So you,
Hmm.
that's the word that I have. Like, think about you, what you need.
Well, yes, I love it, but I think also to take a step further, be when you think about you, be selfish. Like
So
be selfish completely. Like be selfish.
yes,
Hmm.
yes,
Be self be selfish and when you think about you, but be selfless when you are um in supporting other people. So be
mhm,
selfless when you're supporting others, but be selfish when you're actually looking at what you want.
yes,
Correct.
a
This is
million
great. This
percent
is
agree.
huge. Yeah, this is awesome. I love it. I love it. A few more comments and then a couple updates. So stay tuned, folks. We have a few things to talk about here. I feel fulfilled after this session. Thank you, Philip
Thank
and
you,
Anna. Thank you, Ahmed, for being here. David says, great
thank
discussion,
you.
Phil and Anna. We appreciate it. Okay, so where can we find the amazing Anna Gerner? Where can we find her? Well, we can find her on LinkedIn, of course. Connect with Anna right here, linkedin.com/in/Anna Gerner. Pretty easy. So if you type Anna Gerner there, you will be able to find her on LinkedIn or just find her. She's tagged on this live. You can always connect with her that way, which is amazing. Amazing, amazing. I'll leave that up for a second. Melissa, thank you as well.
Thank
Great
you.
discussion. I agree. Very powerful discussion for sure. Anna has a YouTube page as well. If you just type in Anna Gerner as well on YouTube, you'll be able to find her channel. But she streams some lives that she's on as well with Teresa and other folks as well. This will also be on her YouTube channel as well. The recording will. So definitely, whoops, that's her YouTube. Definitely check out her YouTube there. I'll leave that up here. I know some of the URLs on YouTube are kind of wonky. So if you just type in Anna Gerner on there, you'll be able to find her there. LinkedIn, of course, her company page, linkedin.com/company/digital butterfly comms. So that's her LinkedIn page and all that good stuff there. And of course, I am here on LinkedIn, obviously, as well. LinkedIn.com/in/Philip John Davis, my name. So find me there, connect with me as well, folks. My company is Fulfillment. So find me on LinkedIn.com/company/fulfillment. So same drill, right? If you type in fulfillment, you'll find me everywhere. I'm all over the place. Fulfillment.com is my website. Same thing. Both of us offer career coaching services. We do it in very unique and very awesome and different ways, but we definitely are just a great team. We're a great partnership and all that good stuff. So, any quick developments, Anna, you have going on with your business that you want to share? Any updates, real quick?
Sure, really quick. I am working on my website, something that should be out there for a long time, but I'm still working on it. I'm doing it on my own, so yay. And I am going to have a couple free resources for people about, the work environment, self-care, and boundaries, because those are the three topics that I talk about a lot. And beginning next year, I hope to have a boundaries course for,
Beautiful.
people, just to help them, because those are really hard conversations to have, especially because if you used to be the person saying yes to everything and now you're going to start saying no or maybe, or directing people to different resources, that may create some things in there. So yeah, those are the things I have going on. And now, yeah, I want
Wonderful.
to be more active on YouTube too. So
Beautiful. A lot of awesome fire insights and nuggets coming your way. This is excellent. We're kind of in the same boat, which is amazing. So I have an introductory career coaching course that is coming out. I'm trying to get it out next week, a week from today on the 27th. It's going to be a free introductory coaching course. You will have to sign up with via email in your name to access the course, but it's going to be a free introductory course, just kind of a way to help job seekers kind of get started along their job search, how they can really focus and fine tune along their journey. So that will be coming out next week. That is going to be my free little introductory course because I'm to offer also next year or so, which will be kind of cool. So that's coming next week. So that's awesome there. And then the reason why the bow tie, David and others here have has is not here. Well, yeah, way to go, of course, on all
Thank
of
you.
your accomplishments and things to come. So exciting, Jenna says. David, boundaries, important topic, 1,000%, 1,000%. So the reason why I've got my shirt on, right, without a bow tie is so this is, of course, my fulfillment branded T-shirt with the logo on it. And so, folks, to let folks know, I offer a new kind of fulfillment experience program, a career coaching program. And what that is it's basically my 4-week full scale program, which encompasses resume review, LinkedIn review, interview prep, accountability sessions weekly, and also some networking job search strategies. So it's basically all of the different areas that fulfillment that I offer within 4 weeks. But you also get my coaching while you get acquainted to your new role. So I'm actually with you for 4 months. So your first month to do your job search. And then when you land an offer, I'm with you for your first 90 days to help you with your goals in that new job, to help with that culture and environment, getting you acclimated to that business once you land the job. So with that program, if you automatically sign on that program with me, you will get a t-shirt. But for a limited time between now and the end of the year, if you sign on for my full scale program, which is my 4-week program, resume, LinkedIn, interview prep, accountability, and networking job search strategy, I also will add a free t-shirt into that program between now and the end of the year. So I've got some room for some more clients. I will tell you that my full scale program and my experience program, all those clients that go through those programs, they've landed job offers within 60 days of employment. I just finished one up last month before COVID. He wrapped up his full scale program. He got a job within 28 days. 28 days. So these programs work. These are the ones that I'm proud of, and just that I'm helping clients out. So definitely, if you sign on with any of those programs between now and the end of the year, I'll offer a free T-shirt that you could wear and be proud of. So that's some awesome stuff that we've got going on, which is incredible. We both have amazing things happening. Just here to help impact people and just help transform, like you said, people's lives. Hence the butterfly in the background. Thank you, David, for the shirt feedback. I appreciate it. The logo is me. I appreciate it. I really do. So next week's going to be kind of crazy, of course, with the online career coaching course. Like I said, hopefully I'll launch it a week from today. But we're going to have 2 episodes next week. We're going to have episode 30 and 31 of Fulfillment LinkedIn Live. So 30 is going to be at the same time, 11 Eastern, 10 Central, 8 Pacific, 8 a.m. Pacific. But then episode 31 is going to be later in the afternoon with Teresa. We mentioned that before. That'll be at 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 Central, 4, 3, 2, 1 Pacific. So 2 awesome LinkedIn Fulfillment Lives, kind of just catching up from being out, but it's better to do them later when we're 110% fulfilled. So we definitely appreciate everybody's just time today. Thanks for being here, giving us your comments, your energy. If you're still with us on the live, thank you so much. If you're listening to the replay, please comment. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Give us some insights and all that good stuff. We appreciate you. And Anna, too, just thank you so much for going a little over an hour with us today. Your insights have been amazing. Definitely just awesome things to think about and to utilize along our path. So thank you, my friend. It's been great.
Thank you, my friend. It's been an honor. I'm so happy, and I thank everyone who were writing these comments, or if you're just here live watching and not commenting, I thank you as well. So thank you so much for being here. And Phil, you know how much I admire and appreciate you. And I'm here. I'm your friend, and I'm here for whatever you need.
Right back at you. And again, folks, please do connect with both of us. I mean, we both love what we do, and just ask for our help if you need any help along your path. Definitely reach out to Anna. She's a bundle of joy, as you've seen here today. And this again is why I love to do the lives. You really get to just get out here to give back to this amazing community and to just be here together in this moment. So thank you all so much. I'm going to sign us off here in 5, 4, Three, two, one. Take care, my friends.
Bye.